Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I'll be doing a vlog on the 7 things I wish I knew before I started my journey in real estate. And it has been a good 4 to 5 years in this real estate line, and I've met so many interesting people, dealt with so many interesting cases. Looking back, I wish I knew and did more homework on these 7 areas before actually starting my journey in real estate. And number one is that there's big and small agencies. So you can definitely tell there's a difference between the big and small agencies. And when I first started my journey in real estate, I joined a big agency, and the big agency have a lot of support in terms of manpower and technology. And in terms of support, the company also provides trainings. They organize weekly trainings. The trainings are not only about real estate, but they also have motivational training, sales training, and also award ceremonies every week and also every once monthly. And then as for big agencies, they also have good cooperations with the developers. So sometimes they'll tie up with the developers and to allow the agents to take part in exhibitions in the shopping mall and on road shows as well. So I didn't join a small agency, so I don't have actually a personal experience when it comes to how a small agency operates. But I do know for small agencies, you may not get as much support as compared to in a large agency. And then number two is the cost. So I'm not talking about the joining cost, as in the cost to join real estate, like your signing up cost, cost for the materials and your training, and all those beginning costs. But the cost that I'm talking about is the operating cost, the cost that you'll be incurred throughout the run in your real estate career and business. So the operating costs will include the travel cost, the marketing cost, and also the other costs and expenses that you incur along the way in your real estate business, because this will be the bulk in your real estate business. So to advertise the listings, there are many ways to advertise the listings. You can do it offline or online. And offline, there are the traditional ways where to put on the newspaper, flyers, banners. And online, you can advertise on the property portal sites and on social media and anywhere else on the internet. So when it comes to the property portals, this will usually be the main bulk of your marketing cost and also your operating cost, because the property portals, they are frankly not cheap. So they are the property portals such as Muda.my, Property Guru, iProperty, Prop Social, The Edge, Prop Wall, or the Star Property. So when it comes to the property portals, as I mentioned earlier, you'll be probably looking at spending about 100 ringgit a month, can probably be spending about 1,000 ringgit a year to maybe even 3 to 5,000 ringgit a year. And then secondly, you have Property Guru, which can range from around 800 ringgit subscription package a year to as much as almost 2,000 ringgit a year. And then for iProperty, we're looking at about 1,000 plus ringgit to as much as maybe 4,000 ringgit a year. And this is not including the top-ups for your ad credits and for your feature credit. These are credits to advertise your property listings. So you're probably looking at about 20, 30 or even 10,000 ringgit a year in advertising costs and marketing costs. And this is not including the money that you need to spend to buy the banners and to also print the flyers, and also whether you're doing newspaper advertisement. So you're not closing deals every month, or you're not even closed any deals for the past few months. You have to bear in mind that these are the costs that you need to take into consideration, because if you're not closing deals every month as you spend on your marketing costs and your travel costs, money is going out of your wallet but nothing is coming in. And you have to also be mentally prepared. You may not be able to close a deal for the next maybe 1 week or 1 month or even 3 months, 6 months or 1 year down the road. So it's good that you do proper financial planning and to mentally prepare yourself on these financial areas. And then number 3 on the list is the ratios. And the ratios I'm talking about is the split between the agent and the company when it comes to the commission. So when I closed my first deal was the office rental, and the rental was 2,600. So for a rental, the commission is the 1 month rental, and that is the 2,600 ringgit for this first case that I closed. And I thought I'll be getting the whole 2,600 rental commission. But then at the end of the day, I got back 40-60, and the company took 40% and I took 60%. So in the real estate industry, this is like the standard starting ratio for the agents. It can be 40-60, and then as you progress and as you close more deals and as the commission from the deals increases, the ratio will increase to 30-70 and then 20-80 and then 10-90 and maybe even 5-95, whereby you will be getting 95% and the company will take 5% of the commission. And then number 4 on the list, you not only need to have experience in the property itself, but you also have to experience in property and also the other areas surrounding it. So for example, it's good to have experience in legal matters, legal knowledge, and also financial knowledge, banking knowledge, and construction knowledge as well. And why do I say that you need to have experience in these areas or maybe even other areas related to the property? Because real estate is not just only about the property, it's also about people. You have the buyers and the sellers, and then when they inquire about the property and also the transaction process, they want to know what is the banking process, what the documents they need to prepare to submit to the bank for their bank loan application, and then also what's the bank time frame that they're looking at. And then at the legal side where you have the contract confirmation form or the booking form for the property, and then the appointment letter by the seller and the landlord, and then you have also the sales and purchase agreement and the loan agreement. These are legal documents, and sometimes for first time home buyers or maybe even some owners and landlords, they may not be experienced or well versed with this document. They will ask you what is your opinion or your advice on this document, and to explain to them the process in the transaction. And then they want to know whether they are fully covered in the transaction. So for example, like the buyer, when they're putting in the earnest deposit or the booking for the property, will they be able to get back this deposit if the transaction fails or is aborted? And then for the owner, if there are certain legal issues, whether in the sales and purchase agreement or even in the booking form, whether they are adequately covered in the event that the sale does not go through as well. And then as for the construction term, when the buyer views the house or even the tenant they view the house, they will ask you on construction matters like whether the flooring, what flooring is it, or the ceiling, whether it's plaster ceiling or not, and then the piping, whether it's old piping or what type of piping for the water, and the electricity, whether it's 3-phase or single-phase wiring and so forth. And then number 5 is that you're dealing with people. So real estate is not just only about property, as I mentioned earlier, but also about the people. And when dealing with people, you're dealing with all kinds of characters and personality. And you're the very quiet kind of prospects to all the way the very talkative and very friendly kind of prospect. And the way they answer your question, and the way they reply you, and even how they reject you, each of them, respond to you in different ways. And I come to learn that, when it comes to dealing with rejection and maybe even left in the cold or after a few days, you can guess that the tenant or the buyer is not interested in the property already. So you have to mentally prepare yourself that these are the ways that people reject you. And then there's a sensitive issue of racism and prejudices. So I have owners and landlords who tell me that, I'm not racist, but I don't want to rent out to such and such and such a tenant. And I understand where they're coming from, because they will say, because I have bad experiences with such tenants in the past, so that's why I don't want to rent to them. And as a real estate agent, I'm stuck in a very hard place between two very opposing and different expectations. So on one hand, here you have the landlord who say, I don't want to rent to this tenant, not because of the tenant's background or because of the tenant's qualification, but because of the tenant's race. On the hand, this tenant who has very good background, they can pay the rental of good qualification, but because of this tenant's race, that's why the landlord wants to reject them. So as a real estate agent, we have to strike a very fine balance, manage both parties' expectations. Number 6 is that there's a difference between being a seller's agent and buyer's agent. So as the seller's agent, you'll be getting the listing from the seller and marketing the listings. So your cost will be on the marketing side, and then after that, when you actually get in the buyer for the seller, then you have to follow up with the seller and also the seller's lawyer to make sure that the deal goes through and the transaction is smooth all the way from the booking to the signing of the sales and purchase agreement, and also the vacant possession where the buyer gets the key for the property. And then as the buyer's agent, be prepared to follow the buyer around and to even compete with the buyer to find the property for that buyer. Because as the buyer's agent, both you and the buyer will be looking for property, and sometimes maybe even you and the buyer may be searching for the same property. So when you inquire for the property, the agent for this property will say, oh, actually this buyer contacted me already. Then when it comes to following the buyer, to take the buyer around to view the property, be prepared to take the buyer around for not only 1 week, but 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or maybe even 1-2 months down the road, because they have to view a lot of properties before actually making a decision. Some buyers may view one property and already the deal is done because they like the property. And there are some buyers who are just started in the buying process, so they'll be looking at a lot of houses, maybe not even 10, 20, but even as much as 100 houses before actually making a decision to buy a house. So be prepared to follow the buyer around and to take into consideration your travel costs to service these buyers. And finally, number 7, which is the structure and the model of the agency. So because of how technology and the internet have advanced, so the agency system also have advanced. So some agencies, you can come in as an agent and you can focus solely on renting and selling the property as the agent. And then there's also the other side, we can come in as a recruiter or to come in to train the agent and come in as a motivation person. So as a real estate agent, you not only need to do the rental and sale as the agent as the job, you can also branch out and do into other things such as recruiting and training. You can become the head of teams and start your own team in the real estate company and earn from their overriding commission. So when an agent closes a deal, you get a cut from the commission. And this can become your source of passive income in real estate. So you may have 1 agent or 10 agents and maybe even 100 to 1,000 agents under you. And this agent and the close deals, they help you in your real estate income. So these are the 7 things I wish I knew before I joined real estate. And I definitely learned a lot from these 7 areas along the way in my 4 to 5 years in real estate. I hope you picked up something from one of these areas. And if you are looking to join real estate or you want to start a career in real estate, you can contact me. I'll leave my contact in the description below. So I appreciate you can also like this video and subscribe to my channel, and this will help out with this video and this channel.